I am on a website called Unlimited Hangout because I'm reading this article about Barbara Marx Hubbard, Godmother of Transhumanism and Synthetic Spirituality by John Klizek. This is from May of 2022, and I thought it would be good to get more understanding about the New Age spirituality that goes along with transhumanism, AI, and all that junk. And there's Barbara Marx Hubbard. In 2016, the Global Future Councils of the World Economic Forum, WEF, posted a video entitled 8 Predictions for the World in 2030, which infamously forecasted a technocratic New World Order in which you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. It doesn't take a stretch of the imagination to ponder how WEF oligarchs plan to roll out sustainable development policies which will ration consumer goods in a global sharing economy that employs transient gig workers who will be rendered into propertyless serfs under a techno-communitarian rendition of neo-feudalism. But how will the globalist technocrats of the WEF sway the virtual peasant class to be happy with their permanent state of digitally indentured servitude? Enter New Age guru Barbara Marx Hubbard in her endorsement of the HeartMath Institute's Global Coherence Initiative, which is propagating transhumanist neurofeedback wearables across the planet in order to digitally synchronize humanity's collective heart rhythms and brainwaves into electronically induced states of synthetic spiritual bliss. With Hubbard's transhumanist blessings, HeartMath's global neurotech network is primed to lull plebs and proles into happy compliance with the new normal of the Fourth Industrial Revolution's techno-feudal stakeholder economy. In this first installment of my series on Hubbard's legacy, contributions to the post-humanist religion and techno-fascist economy of the neo-eugenic Fourth Industrial Revolution, I will historicize how Rockefeller philanthropies bankrolled Hubbard's Foundation for Conscious Evolution. Pause. I think Elon Musk just recently tweeted something about conscious evolution. In order to digitally engineer humankind into a new transhuman species baptized in the name of technostic Christ consciousness. Furthermore, I will expose how Hubbard collaborated with globalists at the World Business Academy, corporatists at Singularity University, and here's a word I've never seen before. Eupsychian, human potential psychologists, in connection with the Esalen Institute in order to establish a techno-communitarian spiritualism that worships transhumanist evolution controlled by big tech companies which dominate the stakeholder economy of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Finally, I will document how Hubbard advanced the globalization of HeartMath Institute's transhumanist biofeedback wearables, which can neurotechnologically mesmerize the precariat into virtual states of happy subservience to the new normal. In the coming installments of this series, I will reveal how Hubbard's transhumanist mission to steer conscious evolution is steeped in Malthusian eugenic population control. Additionally, I will unveil how Hubbard's transhumanist allies from the World Future Society, the Human Potential Movement, and the Foundation for Conscious Evolution are entangled with networks of alleged edophilepays and SA cults. That was code. Where New Age meets the new normal. Ever since the announcement of the virus 19 lockdowns, there has been a spate of propaganda campaigns from government, bureaucrats, corporate oligarchs, and globalist technocrats who have been lecturing about the necessity to acclimate the new normal. You probably never heard this virus slogan until 2020, but Hubbard was prophesying the dawning of a new normal at least as far back as 2008. In fact, Hubbard foretold that 2020 would mark the pivotal year of the global shift towards the new normal that is transitioning the world into the futurist singularity envisioned by Google's director of engineering, Ray Kurzweil, who is a founder of Singularity University, which is a post-humanist think tank, where Hubbard promoted her dreams of harnessing conscious evolution to engineer a new transhuman species. In Hubbard's book, 52 Codes for Conscious Evolution, A Process of Metamorphosis to Realize Our Full Potential Self, Code 33, Called for Human Beings, Code 33, called for human beings to come forward as a new norm in order to evolve the human species from Homo sapiens to Homo universalis. Later in 2012, Hubbard published another book, Birth 2012 and Beyond, Humanity's Great Shift, the Great Shift to the Age of Conscious Evolution. In a section titled From 2012 to 2020 and Beyond, Hubbard proclaimed that the 8 years after the 2012 birth, leading up to 2020, will be critical for implementing the shifts necessary for us to gently grow into the next era, evolving into fully formed evolutionary communities around the world where each person can learn to transform themselves and our world into a transhumanist new world order. Even prior to 2008, for decades, Hubbard foretold the coming of a new transhumanist age in which humankind will merge with technology through conscious evolution as a crusader for the human potential movement. Hubbard networked with psychologists at the Esalen Institute and corporatists at Singularity University to pave the way for human consciousness to collectively co-evolve with the noetic consciousness of the cosmos through transhumanist technologies. Bankrolled by Rockefeller philanthropy, Hubbard established the Foundation for Conscious Evolution, which has been pushing the synergistic advancement of biotech, nanotech, and supercomputing artificial intelligence, AI, that can be globally converged through the Internet of Things and the Internet of Bodies. In order to engineer a new transhuman species to help build the collective cybernetic nervous system of an evolving transhuman superorganism. Hubbard promoted the HeartMath Institute's Global Coherence Network of wearable neurofeedback technologies that interlink human biorhythms through smartphones across the planet. You can see why I'm reading this right now in 2025, right after we have the Stargate announcement last week. So that's why I'm reading this. I should have said that at the beginning. In an evolutionary synthesis, a new world view weaving together a new mimetic code for the quantum future of humanity, which was published in 2008 by the Foundation for Conscious Evolution, Hubbard forecasted how, from the perspective of the evolutionary transhuman, we see a possible convergence of our expanded consciousness with our technologically enhanced body/minds as the next stage of our evolution, when there will be a cosmic cultural convergence of life between transhuman and eventually post-human life, including silicon-based life. Foreshadowing the post-virus new normal of 2020, Hubbard added that in evolutionary transhumanism, the universal human appears for the first time on this earth as a new norm, as a person incarnating our spiritual, social, and scientific technological capacities. As the techno-fascist exploitation of virus lockdowns manifests the theme of Hubbard's 1993 book, Our Crisis is a Birth, the virus crisis is birthing a technocratic new normal in which human life is being increasingly mediated through computer screens and digital ideas that are primed to be tracked and traced by LOB cybernetics. Hence, it appears that the turning point of 2020 has lined up with Hubbard's predictions for a great shift toward the birth of a conscious evolution, in which humankind begins to synergize with digital computer technologies in order to be reimagined as a new transhuman cyborg species. If you don't like the idea of big tech biotechnology in engineering you into a digital computer product, don't worry. Hubbard's Global Heart Math Initiative can hook you up to biofeedback wearables that will electronically hypnotize you into copacetic obedience as you are techno-eugenically engineered into a transhuman underling who will happily own nothing, not even your own body, in the new normal. That is the techno-fascist Fourth Industrial Revolution. Yes, and like I said, this is in 2022, and now we're in 2025. And I think it seems kind of obvious that all that stuff from the Fourth Industrial Revolution is going to happen no matter who's president. Okay. To be sure, Hubbard's vision of the transhuman future wasn't magically gleaned from peering into a crystal ball. Rather, Hubbard was closely involved with many of the transhumanist architects of the technocratic new normal, which for several decades they have been plotting for 2020. Barbara Hubbard, Christ Consciousness and Cybernetic Transhumanity. Pause. I'm just going to mention that I have read several books two books by Constance Cumby and one by Warren B. Smith, where a lot of these topics are discussed, and especially Barbara Marx Hubbard is mentioned. So any videos that I can think of that have her in it, I'm going to link in the description. Hubbard's vision of trans-evolution through superorganic cyber nervous system was inspired by the tech-gnostic prophecies of Pierre Teilhard de Chardin and the design science revolution of R. Buckminster Fuller. Teilhard de Chardin was a eugenicist Jesuit priest who preached a trans-gnostic gospel of spiritual or noetic evolution through the awakening of universal consciousness through the noosphere. Fuller was an eminent futurist and the godfather of the design science revolution, which prototyped synergetic models of evolutionary architecture, such as the geodesic dome. Both Teilhard de Chardin and Fuller professed their faith in the cosmic Christ consciousness of noospheric evolution, which Hubbard likewise idolized as the crux of humankind's cybernetic evolution into a trans-technological collective. This is all about deification of man, essentially. During Hubbard's 2015 speech to members of the Institute of Noetic Sciences, IONS, she traced the awakening of her conscious evolution to her reading of Teilhard de Chardin's Phenomenon of Man. Quote, "The minute I read that, I dedicated myself to the noosphere," unquote, derived from the pre-Socratic philosopher Anaxagoras' concept of the nous, which is the omnipresent mind of the cosmos. The noosphere is, according to Teilhard de Chardin, the tangential energy of the universe that is evolving through human consciousness. In Hubbard's speech at the 2015 IONS International Conference, she pontificated how through the tangential energies of noetic evolution, the planet has grown a new nervous system in the last 15 years, and its internet, its Facebook, its Twitter, its 7 billion cell phones and counting. An enormous nervous system has been given, and it's open to us. In brief, Hubbard believed that the noospheric expansion of consciousness is evolving the human biological nervous system into an extended technological network of smartphones that are interlinked with internet social media. By ostensibly branching human nervous systems collectively out through mobile phones across satellite telecommunications, online social networks are, according to Hubbard, building evolutionary stepping stones toward a transhuman zenith in which brain-computer interfaces and nanotech implants will unite human consciousness with the cosmic consciousness of the noosphere by merging organic biological intelligence with high-tech artificial intelligence. Okay, pause. Uniting human consciousness with the cosmic consciousness. This is how you become a Christ. And I'm going to pause here and put this quote that is Freemasonic. The question is, how do you become a Christ? And the answer is conscious union with the divine. So, and when Freemasons say the divine, it doesn't mean God, the creator of the world, the Father, or Jesus. It's the other guy. Okay, sorry. In her 2001 book, Emergence, The Shift from Ego to Essence, 10 Steps to the Universal Human, Hubbard relayed how Teilhard de Chardin's noosphere is what we might call the thinking layer of Earth, or the mind sphere. Think of this noosphere as an invisible, yet all-pervasive superorganism. Here each of us lives, much as our own cells live inside of our body. The noosphere is composed of our collective consciousness, as well as the intelligence that is creating our extended bodies in the form of rapidly growing technology, including the internet, biotechnology, and nanotechnology. And isn't that what the mRNA thing is? The nanotechnology? I think that's what that is. Correct me if I'm wrong. During her 2017 speech, Awakening the New Species in You, at the Global Purpose Movement's Purpose Summit in San Francisco, Hubbard declared that Teilhard de Chardin's noosphere is now the internet nervous system of the planet. And there's enough of us now to wake up our planetary nervous system through high-tech, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, robotics, genetics, all of that being the powers of our mythological gods. Sounds like lying signs and wonders. In sum, Hubbard believed that by harnessing biotech and nanotech robotics, genetically engineered human bodies can be melded with quantum AI, which will evolve human beings into transhuman cyborgs who can achieve godhood by summoning the collective consciousness of the noosphere through the Internet of Things and the Internet of Bodies. Okay, that's what that means. I mispronounced that earlier. The LOT and the LOB, it's not an L, it's an I. I'm sorry. Inverting the biblical gospel of how God humbled himself to descend from heaven in order to be incarnated in the human body of Jesus Christ, Hubbard preached Teilhard de Chardin's trans-Gnostic gospel of how humans must exalt themselves as gods by technologically evolving into ultra-human machine hybrids capable of ascending to the Christ consciousness of the noosphere. During her Ion speech, Hubbard relayed how Teilhard de Chardin prophesied that when the mind sphere gets its collective eyes, we will experience the Christification of the earth. Okay. I think this was a good article to read. I'm going to keep reading. I just wanted to give a background and the spiritual underpinnings of this weirdo Stargate stuff that they're rolling out. The whole idea of it. According to Hubbard, the mind sphere or new sphere's collective eyes are being opened through the world wide web of internet social media. In Hubbard's vision of the future, these digital social networks would spread across the globe and saturate the planet through what R. Buckminster Fuller called the design science revolution. In the final equation, Hubbard's Fuller-inspired technotronic revolution will culminate in a noetic nexus of satellite telecommunications and mobile computer devices that will consciously evolve into a transhumanist Internet of Things and Internet of Bodies singularity, resulting in the so-called Christification of the earth, which will anoint the collective human species as God on earth. This is so antichrist. This tech-gnostic gospel of Christ consciousness was also preached by Fuller, who believed that his design science revolution would harness advances in science and industry to technocratically usher in a utopian heaven on earth. Like Hubbard and Teilhard de Chardin, Fuller envisioned that by means of the design science revolution, the universal mind, or cosmic Christ consciousness, would evolve through the transhumanist synergy of human intelligence and technological progress. In Synergetics, Explorations in the Geometry of Thinking, Fuller pontificated that the universe is technology, and that in the emerging epoch of the New Age, the design science revolution would technocratically meld the Christ consciousness of the new sphere with the human consciousness of the biosphere, resulting in a cosmic transhumanist singularity that would bring about a paradise on earth. Wow. Finding a new mate in Hubbard, Fuller laureled her as the heir to his futurist vision of Christified technocratic evolution through his design science revolution. In Hubbard's 2015 book, The Evolutionary Testament of Co-Creation, the promise will be kept. She recorded how Fuller declared, "There is no doubt in my mind that Barbara Marx Hubbard, who helped introduce the concept of futurism to society, is the best informed human now alive regarding futurism and the foresights it has produced." With great pride, Hubbard took on Fuller's mantle and carried the torch for his techno-Christified design science revolution. In her speech titled, "How Do We Get Ready for 2012? A Vision for Humanity," which was orated during the Prophets Conference 2012 Tipping Point at Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, Canada, Hubbard told a story about how both she and Fuller had Christ consciousness experiences that brought together their esoteric journeys toward high-tech conscious evolution. Quote, "Bucky's Christ experience was that he was walking along the streets in Chicago. He saw a light. He got lifted up by the light, and he heard the words, 'Bucky, you are the first mini Christ on earth, and what you attest to is true.' Fuller revealed this vision to her on an occasion when Hubbard shared her own Christ experience with him. Hubbard explains that one day I had written this book about the New Testament of an evolutionary Christ. Bucky asked to see me alone. He put his arms around me and he said, 'Darling, I had the same experience,' and he put his temple onto mine, and I feel he zapped me with the design science revolution." In a nutshell, both Hubbard and Fuller professed their faith in new spheric Christ consciousness, and Hubbard believed that her shared Christ experience with Fuller noetically transmuted his revolutionary design science mission into her own conscious evolution. And here's the, I guess it's the back of her book. And it's a quote by Buckminster Fuller. "There is no doubt in my mind that Barbara Marx Hubbard, who helped introduce the concept of futurism to society, is the best informed human now alive regarding futurism and the foresight it has produced." The evolutionary testament of co-creation, the promise will be kept. Carrying on the message of Fuller's design science revolution, Hubbard paraphrased a passage from his Utopia or Oblivion in her 1995 book, The Revelation, A Message of Hope for the New Millennium. In a section titled The Journey, Hubbard relayed Fuller's utopian forecast of how the metaphysical or noetic consciousness of universal intelligence is cosmically evolving in tandem with the collective conscious evolution of human intelligence throughout the transhumanist technological progression of the design science revolution. Quote, "The universe is building up toward even higher order because it is increasing in intelligence through us. Intelligence," proclaimed Fuller, "is not physical, it is metaphysical. Our technology is becoming ephemeralized, miniaturized, and aesthetic. Like nature's technologies, photosynthesis, DNA, the human brain, we now have the technology, resources, and know-how," Fuller said, "to make of this world a 100% physical success. The growing edge of technology is giving us the power to transform ourselves as well as our world. The individual human has enormous untapped potential. The planet is evolving toward a quantum leap, wherein all of its members will experience themselves as part of one body. We have the ability to overcome physical lack and even to change our physical nature, our body-mind systems. These great evolutionary goals are the meaning of power." Stated differently, Hubbard touted Fuller's postulation of how technology evolves. It will become increasingly ephemeralized until it is so condensed that it can be fused into human biology. In turn, this ephemeralized amalgamation of biology and technology will, according to Hubbard, transform body-mind systems by melding them with the digital infrastructure of the world economy. To put it all together, Hubbard was an evangelist for conscious transhumanist evolution through the globalization of a collective cybernetic nervous system that will be vitalized by the techno-industrial revolution of Fuller's synergetic design science and the new spheric awakening of Teilhard de Chardin's cosmic Christ consciousness.
Run.